Hi, Solopreneur Nation. This is an uncaffeinated, overhydrated, unshowered Bo Yoder coming to you live on the interwebs. So look, if you've got this thing, this vision for what the future should be and have the guts it took to actually venture outside the matrix of normal, safe, boring mediocrity to make that something real, if you've ever been called a dreamer, crazy, or obsessed, if you've been told it's time to be responsible and give up on your dreams, yet you know what you're doing truly matters and it's your moral responsibility to make it happen so that the world can move forward out of the darkness into the light that you're working so hard to shine on it, then welcome. I'm Bo Yoder, your Solopreneur Survival Guide, here to help people just like us learn how to best survive your glorious yet hectic period of catastrophic success so that your light sparkles bright in the darkness. Because you're not lazy, you're not crazy, you're a freaking genius who's doing exactly what you were born to do. You have amazing focus even though you don't know it, and amazing self-discipline even though you can't believe it right now. It's just hidden away waiting for you to uncover it. Once you discover how to access it and you have the right structural tools, you can and must take your idea as fast and as far as you can because the world desperately needs you. Welcome, this is episode 5, and today I'm going to talk about literally becoming your own boss. Let's start the 10-minute tirade timer and begin. So when you get into the world of working from home, being a solopreneur, creating value in the world, people always talk about wanting to get rid of their old boss, right? People hate their bosses. People hate their jobs. People hate having someone on top of them, sort of lurking over them, who perhaps they don't like or don't respect, telling them what to do all the time. So that's one of the great fantasies is, I'm going to quit my job and be my own boss. Well, I want you to take that concept extremely literally. One of the things that you need to learn as a solopreneur is how to split yourself into multiple pieces. You might need to put on your marketing hat for a while. You might need to put on your organizational hat for a while. You might need to put on your grand vision hat for a while. You have to be able to sort of split your personality and really be able to separate your focus into different areas that your business needs. And so what I want you to do today is consider literally stepping outside of yourself and becoming your own boss. So let's take one task that's really important, one project that you're working on right now that must get done in order to get your business to where you want it to be. Let's pretend you had unlimited resources and unlimited time, and there was somebody out there with a done-for-you product that could just make that thing happen. Okay, how would you treat those people? How would you communicate with those people? How would you plan out the different steps of your project so that those minions could go out there, outsource your process, and do the work for you? All right, I want you to take that external focus, and I want you to bring that internally. I want you to literally step outside yourself and look at yourself as an employee in your own company. What would you do to your second self? How would you describe the workflow that you wanted? How would you talk about your expectations for follow through and the milestones that are important so that you can actually get to from where you are now to where you want to be? How about deadlines? Do you want to have hard deadlines? Do you want to have a soft product launch concept, perhaps? All these ideas, all these thoughts are exactly the sort of thing that you would do if you were paying somebody to do the work that you need to do in the future as a solopreneur. Because again, as I say, I have partners in one of my businesses. It's me, myself, and I in here at the Solopreneur Survival Guide. But even when I'm working with partners, 80% of my time is spent right here in this chair by myself, crushing my task list. And so I step outside myself and I think, okay, if I had a minion doing this thing, even if it's something that I can't outsource, and that I have to do myself because it's my own unique value, my own unique perspective that's going to make this thing work, that's going to make this thing happen, I still try to step outside myself and think, okay, what's realistic here? If this was a third party executing this task list, what would be real for them? What would be an appropriate deadline? What would be an appropriate workflow and different milestones that would exist? Now, by doing this, by bifurcating, separating yourself, and being your own boss, setting up an employee type situation, an employee type structure so that you can move forward on this project, you're going to have two really cool things that are going to happen. Number one, you're going to have a process map that's going to force you to create. Now, I know this seems a little redundant, but I want you to have the discipline to actually follow through on this. See if it works for you. If it doesn't, great, fine. But I know that it will. So if you actually do this, you'll be amazed at the results. And I'd love to hear comments below about how this has changed your perception of your work, the time relativity of your work, and the comfort and the pleasantness of your work experience. Okay, so let's go back to our concept of time relativity. If you're saying goodbye to a loved one, a family member, you're at the airport, you have 15 minutes before their airplane leaves, that 15 minutes goes by in a flash. You want it to last forever, but it doesn't. It feels compressed because you're having such a great time and you don't want that time to end. If you leave that airport, get stuck in an elevator, it's hot, it's dark, it's smelly, it's crowded, it's uncomfortable. If it only takes 15 minutes for them to unstick the elevator and get you out, that's still the longest 15 minutes of your life. So what we're trying to do here is become time lords. We're going to compress time so that the time you spend on these tasks is less onerous, less difficult, less elevator-like, right? We don't want you stuck on an elevator. We want you having that speeding through, that flow state, that enjoyment of time. So by putting the effort in the beginning as if a third party was going to do this work, you're following through on one of my favorite quotes from Abraham Lincoln, which is, if you gave me 6 hours to cut down a tree, I'd spend the first 4 sharpening my axe. A lot of people spend a lot of time feeling busy, right? Busy is sort of a drug. It makes you feel like you're doing something that's relevant. It makes you feel like you're productive and good. But if you're not actually accomplishing anything, it's just a waste of time. You're going in a loop, in a circle. So what I like to do is sit down, really process map out what it is that I want to do. Because also as a solopreneur, I've got so many things in my head. You have no idea how many different projects and concepts and management loops I'm currently dealing with right now, just today. The reason I don't lose all that stuff, the reason I don't make constant stupid mistakes of overlooking something, forgetting something, is because I take the time to create this process map and literally treat myself with the same respect and the project that I'm working on with the same respect I would if I was paying somebody else to do it. Because that's an interesting cognitive shift, right? Let's pretend you had a volunteer that was going to come in and do this work. You wouldn't respect them that much, would you? Now, imagine if this person was being paid $300 an hour to execute that task. How would you treat them? You'd be very focused on getting them done quick, right? So, you didn't have unlimited cost. You'd be very focused on clarity for their purpose. You'd be very focused on clarity of the milestones, what your expectations are for that project in the timeline that you have. So give yourself that same respect. You're worth way more than $300 an hour. In fact, as the CEO, the CIO, the CMO, the COO of your company, as a solopreneur, even if you have partners, your responsibilities are infinite. You are in control, in command of your system. And for the entrepreneurs that I like to work with who are experiencing catastrophic overwhelm after a big breakthrough and rapid growth in their business, they haven't had time yet to hire team members and truly outsource a lot of their non-vital functions. So they're stuck doing it themselves. So therefore, you have to be better. You have to be more efficient. You have to be more planned, because as this swirl of stuff hits you, believe me, it will. Catastrophic success is the best and the worst experience you'll have as an entrepreneur. It's the best because you broke through and you're winning finally. It's bad because you're going to be letting people down, including yourself, because you're just overwhelmed and you can't do it all. So by spending a little bit of time investing in yourself, respecting yourself and your work process by creating a clear process map and essentially building out what your expectations are for this project, planning it out, creating milestones for yourself. Now you've done those two things. One, you know where you need to be at any given time. Plus, we're going to get to this in another podcast, we can multiplex now. So if I'm working on something and I've got 5 or 6 different tasks that are a part of this project, and suddenly a fire breaks out, as it always does and always will. That's never going to stop happening. I get an important message. I get an email that tells me my site is broken. There's something that has to be, drop everything and be addressed right now. Okay? I go off. I fix that thing. It's back. The fire's out. Everything's cool. And I come back to my task list and I'm lost. I got to start over. I got to get back into where I was. I got to remember what I did. I might end up doing the same job twice and then realizing it later is a total waste of time. Not if you have a good process map. Because if you have a good process map, you come back and you go, oh, hey, yep, okay, I did that. All right, so I was working on this when I got interrupted. Boom, right back into your workflow. You don't waste time. You don't waste sort of psychic, emotional energy trying to figure out or feeling frustrated that you're doing the same job twice. And you just get back in the flow and go. And you stay in that high-functioning, productive state. It feels good. You feel the momentum and the productivity surging through you because you're actually getting stuff done. You're knocking down your task list. You're crossing them out. One of the things I love to do is put things on Post-it notes, because when I take a task list and I'm done, I get a very physical, tangible enjoyment of crumbling that up and throwing it in the waste paper basket. So I recommend that. That makes it, for me, gives me that nice little lift. It's a little reward of, boom, got that done. Okay, let's go to the next thing. So respect yourself as you would if you were paying yourself $300, $400, $500 an hour. Map out what you're doing. Map out how to get from A to B, and then go ahead and do it. Treat yourself as if you are an employee. Be your own boss, literally. And you're going to see an enormous shift in the perceived weight of the work that's on your shoulders. You're also going to see that time relativity compress so that you're spending either more efficient, you're just simply spending less time, or the time you spend you won't begrudge and it won't feel so cranky. You won't procrastinate. You won't put things off. You'll get stuff done and you'll move on to the next task with lightness and enjoyment over that process. For the show notes, links, and resources for this episode, please go to ssg.guide/SSG5, right, for episode number 5. And for some free training, you can always visit training.ssg.guide. And I want you to keep your head up. I want you to get excited about this process. You're beginning this process of breaking through catastrophic overwhelm and catastrophic success to get to that next level where scaling is actually fun again. Your business is light and enjoyable because you are not lazy and you are not crazy. You are a freaking genius who is doing exactly what you were born to do, or you wouldn't be here now. You have amazing focus and self-discipline. Even though you don't believe it's there, it's just hidden, waiting for you to discover how to access it. And when you have the right structural tools, as I've talked about today, you can and must take your business as fast and as far as you can, because the world desperately needs you. That's it, everybody. My time is done. Just ran out here. Oh, you can see the time coming, and we're done. Have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you next time.